Have you ever been at work or you're reading an article and it's about statistics or some sort of data? So let's say you're at work and you're looking at a dashboard, maybe from another department or from your leadership, and there's a lot of high level numbers like total number of sales or revenue dollars, something like that. And have you ever asked yourself, well, what does that mean? What is that actually measuring? It's easy to look at something really high level and say, we've sold $100 million worth of X, or this company grew by 200% in 1 year. Well, have you ever thought about, well, what does that actually mean? I want to talk about that today, but before I get into that, I want to say that my name is Ryan Holguin, and welcome to the practical place where project management meets real life. I am a project manager in my day job, but I have a passion for project management, for helping people. So if you want to learn things in that realm, or you want to learn about how to navigate your career, maybe how to level up in your career, maybe there's some content on here that'll help you. Sometimes I dabble into sports, sometimes from a data perspective, but sometimes just from a commentary perspective as well. So if that's something that interests you, I ask you to subscribe and join the 300 of other subscribers in this little small community. So vanity metrics, have you ever heard that term? I want to talk about the danger in vanity metrics, but what makes them so appealing to a leader. A lot of the times when you get into your career, or more often than not, somebody gets to a place in their career where they are very safe. In my career, I started off, as a entry-level employee and have been able to leverage sort of my value, get promotions, and move up with the company. And so I've found a lot of success doing that, but I've also noticed a lot of things as well on my journey. And maybe you have too. You look at dashboards, you look at numbers, and you realize maybe not everything is as what it appears to be. And so when it comes to vanity metrics is maybe this corporate term to basically say it's a high level number that sort of makes the company look good, or makes your department look good, or makes you look good, but it doesn't really tell much of the story of what you guys are trying to do or what your goal is. Maybe this is a helpful encouragement for you to avoid using vanity metrics. And if you're somebody who is more prone to use, don't feel bad about that, but I think it's just such a pitfall of a lot of business professionals and even leaders, to be honest with, because it makes you feel good, right? So I want to give an example. Actually, I'm going to share my screen. I have a sheet of some dummy data that I want to show you to kind of dive into sort of the danger of vanity metrics and how it may be a little misleading. So let's say you're looking at this data here and we have a goal. Let's say you're in product management and you have a goal within the next year, you want to have an adoption rate of over 50%. We think we're going to sell X amount versus what we actually sold, and we need that number of what we actually sold to be at least 50% of what we forecasted. So that's sort of our goal here. So from a high level, if you look at these 4 rows, you see that we're achieving our goal. So we have a total number of 10 total products that we launched in the past year, and these are the items we're going to be measuring this metric against. We forecasted a total of 1,200 units amongst all of these that we want to sell, and it looks like our actual sales to date are 654, which amounts to 55%. So if I'm a leader and I want to play it safe, which I don't, I'm not somebody personally who wants to play things safe. I'm somebody who likes to take risks. I'm somebody who wants to be honest and transparent about data, especially because, as I said earlier, this is something I've noticed is it's really easy to check the box and to say you've met this or you didn't meet it from a high level, but it's a lot harder to really, aggregate your data, look at your data, analyze your data to figure out where exactly did we meet the mark, like what made us meet that mark, or where did we fail and where could we have done better, so that it actually drives behavior for your team moving forward. And that's really what I'm after. That's sort of the heart of this video, is to encourage you away from vanity metrics and into more actionable, relevant, applicable metrics and goals for your team to use. And so this is sort of a framework to help you think about metrics and maybe metrics at your company. And don't be afraid to ask questions. I don't want you to be so pessimistic necessarily, but I do want folks to be more inquisitive about what am I looking at. So if I'm looking at this on the surface, I would say, great job, team. You met your 55% adoption rate goal. You're doing a great job. The new products are being well received, at least per our baseline in the market. We're happy with where we're at. However, I have a few hidden columns here. So let's see if I can unhide everything. I'm going to unhide all of these real quick. And if you can see here, this is the actual raw data. So here's all my products here, product A through J. I use simple numbers, right, in a year to sell all these. 120, just 10 pieces per month is kind of how that would linearly equate to per month sales, right? If we were to track it per month or however you wanted to track it. Here's the actual sales for those items, and then here's the adoption rate per item, right? So if you look at this now from a high level, the sum total of the actual sales, if you see down here, is 654, which is this number right here, and the sum total of this is the 1200. So that's where we get this adoption rate number. So overall, amongst all of our business units and all of our products, new products that we've launched in the past year, we're meeting it. But if you take a closer look at these numbers, this is sort of the level we don't necessarily get into all the time, in business, because it's scary. It's hard to talk about sometimes. But I'm a big believer in just letting the data tell the story, the truthful story, and living now in light of that and working in light of that. So if we're not meeting our goal, that's not the worst thing in the world. It's the best thing for you to know you're not meeting your goal and to look at the numbers and say, well, where exactly am I not meeting these goals, and what can I be doing better? And that's actually going to really help yourself and help your team a lot more if you're just honest and transparent. It's not very helpful to withhold information from somebody just because you want to play it safe. So that's a little side rant. As I was saying, if you look here at the numbers, I highlighted in red the ones that are below that 50% adoption rate threshold that we set for ourselves as a team. So if you notice, there is a count of 6 of these. So there's a total of 10 products that we've launched that we're measuring this number against, and there's only 40% that are actually doing all the heavy lifting to help get us to this 55. So if you see product A has an adoption rate of 125%. So we're selling actually above what we forecasted we would sell. B, we're hitting right on the money what we said. So we have 100% adoption rate of what we thought we would sell. 92% for C, and for D, 83%. Everything else is a drop off. So to me, if this were my team, and I really wanted to dive into this, I would be asking questions about products E through J and say, well, what did we do wrong here that we need to implement moving forward to get these numbers looking like this? Now, is it a forecasting issue? Maybe we over forecasted on these, or maybe we under forecasted on these. We really misjudged the market here. We didn't do enough research in when we were doing our research and development on these products. We didn't really understand the market would accept these as much. Or did we do all the research we can, but maybe our marketing efforts weren't as sort of heavy here, and they need to be. We need to throw more resources here from a marketing perspective here. Or maybe we didn't equip our sales team. There's a lot of questions you can ask when you just start to look at the data and you have it organized and you understand what you're looking at, where you can really help your team level up and yourself level up. And you think about the goals that you set for yourself. A lot of companies do annual goals, and you do a beginning of the year, mid-year, end of year review. When you get away from vanity metrics, hey, I'm gonna do 5, new projects per year. Okay, that's really easy to set that goal, really easy to meet that goal. It's not very specific, and so this helps you sort of get to that specific level of where you want to grow and go. You think about the direction of your company, you think about the direction of your team, and what direction you guys are trying to head, and you start to orient your goals around that. Instead of these high-level vanity metrics, you see 55% across all of our products. We've hit this. That's great, but 60% of these products aren't doing so well. Is that good for your overall business product portfolio? For 60% of your products to not meet that goal, and are we happy with only 40% of our products being widely accepted in the market, and the other 60 are always just going to crash and burn, and we're okay with that? If that's your company, that's totally fine. Then maybe this isn't for you. But if it's not, or if this is something you just haven't thought about, I would encourage you, a few takeaways at the end of this video is, ask questions. If you're looking at something at your company, don't be afraid to ask questions. Whoever owns that data, whoever puts out these numbers, reach out to that person, that subject matter expert or that department lead or team lead, and say, hey, I'm looking at this number. I think it means this. Is that what it means? And just get clarification. I can't tell you how many times I've done that personally in my career, just reached out, and you get so much more clarity, because not only do you understand what it means, but it also equips you to be able to help others understand what it means as well. This literally happened to me not too long ago, where there was some data I was looking at and I was having trouble understanding it. And these were sort of, new numbers that we were starting to share as an organization. And I was asking those who own the data, what did it mean? And, after a series of emails back and forth, I got clarity on what it meant. And I happened to be in another conversation a few weeks later with another business leader, just with another team somewhere, and they didn't understand it. And there was different sort of interpretations of the data, and this person was telling me how they understood it based on what somebody else told them, and what they told me was actually incorrect based on what the owner of the data had told me. So I was able to help sort of equip them to better understand what they were looking at. And so there's so many sort of byproducts or benefits of asking and seeking out, more insight on what you're actually looking at. Another tidbit is don't assume you have to know everything about what you're looking at. Don't assume everybody else knows everything, because when you ask those questions, what I've learned is not everybody knows. They might be a little bit confused and they might say it. So don't be afraid to ask questions. So reach out and don't assume that everybody knows everything about what they're talking about or sharing. So you'll find that really quickly when you start asking questions. Tell me more about that. What does that mean? You learn how to ask good questions. You'll start to realize, well, not everybody knows everything, maybe as they project that they do. And again, I don't want you to walk away pessimistic about everybody around you. Hopefully, if you understand the heart of what I'm trying to communicate here, I just hope this helps open your perspective a little bit more about sort of, the corporate world, how sort of people in business sort of operate, and not be so afraid to speak up and ask questions if you're unsure. Like, that's totally okay. And I don't ever think that's anybody's going to fault you for asking a question. Try to ask good questions, of course. Try to ask insightful questions. Try to do a little bit of the work yourself before you ask questions. But overall, there's totally nothing wrong, and I actually say it's a benefit if you ask questions. So if you found this video helpful, I would encourage you, leave a comment below. Was there something about vanity metrics that you've seen in your career or that I left out or didn't cover? There's so many different directions I wanted to go when thinking about this topic, and maybe I'll just make another video another time about it. You think of one topic and then you think of so many different directions you can go, and you end up with just one video and in one direction you go. But was there something I missed out? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, like it, subscribe, maybe share it with your LinkedIn community or with your peers if you found this helpful to get you guys thinking about what you can be doing different moving forward. Until next time, again, my name is Ryan Holguin. I am a certified project management professional. This is the practical place where project management meets real life. I will see you next time.